In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, Prime Minister issues directive on promoting socio-economic development. Later on, Sopchang province promotes anti-IUU fishing regulations actively. And in our world news, Israeli strikes on Rafah, killing 22 people.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is currently 3 p.m. local time, and you're tuning into 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Lin Lei with the latest updates. Now, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh recently issued a directive outlining key tasks and solutions to boost socio-economic development. Ministries, agencies, and localities are required to monitor international and regional developments closely. This proactive approach will help formulate suitable solutions for market and price stabilization. In particular, the Ministry of Planning and Investment is directed to promote growth while maintaining macroeconomic stability. This ensures a stable economy for individuals, businesses, and production, and attracts quality FDI projects. The Ministry of Finance must speed up the digital transformation process in its sector, ensure correct and timely tax collection, and maintain healthy and stable growth in the bond and stock markets to become an emerging market next year. The State Bank must effectively manage interest rates and exchange rates, ensure the stability of the gold market, and quickly address the price gap between domestic and international gold bars while meeting the foreign currency needs of businesses and people. The Prime Minister also assigned many specific tasks to ministries, branches, and localities, and assigned Deputy Prime Ministers to closely monitor the implementation of these tasks. Continuing the 32nd session, National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ chaired a meeting of the National Assembly Standing Committee on Monday morning to discuss the Law on Urban Planning and Rural Planning project. The committee commented that it is important to decentralize power in urban and rural planning to strengthen the role, initiative, and responsibility of localities, as well as to remove negative phenomena leading to project suspension or slow implementation. Some deputies of the committee also suggested that for general planning, it is necessary to ensure openness and orientation. As for more sectional and detailed planning, it is necessary to ensure specificity, visibility, and convenience for implementation. Along with that, there need to be more specific standards to determine the overload threshold for technical and social infrastructure systems. Also this morning, the National Assembly Standing Committee reviewed the implementation of several solutions and resolutions that are affecting the socio-economic recovery and development program, as well as the progress of some key national projects. In the near future, the government will construct mechanisms and policies to allocate sufficient resources for the development of a robust marine economy. The statement was made at a recent meeting of the National Steering Committee for the implementation of the strategy for the sustainable development of Vietnam's marine economy until 2030, with a vision towards 2045. At present, the scale of Vietnam's marine economy is relatively small, not matching its potential and advantages. Specific challenges include an unsynchronized coastal transportation system, a lack of large seaports, and unattractive policy mechanisms for investment attraction. The Ministry of Planning and Investment requests ministries, branches, and localities to jointly review plans and prioritize projects. The focus is on investments that fosters breakthroughs and promote growth in new industries within the marine economy. Fishery economics is recognized as an important part of the marine economy. Efforts to remove the EC's yellow card will ultimately reorganize fishery economics towards reducing fishing and increasing aquaculture, saying no to destructive exploitation, and aiming for environmentally friendly development are the new goals of many localities. More on this in the following.
10 years ago, fishing was the only occupation of the people in Nhon Li. Things have changed. Fishing now only accounts for a small proportion of the local economy. Homestays, restaurants, sea view cafes, and unique tourism services have emerged as a new ways to make a living. Locals have put in huge efforts to make the village more attractive to tourists. The marine economy for fishermen is no longer just about fishing.
Tourists have flocked to our village and other neighboring sites. They make our village so lively. We can provide tourism services and make a good living from it.
Nhân Lý Commune is a member of the Aquatic Resource Co-Management Group. The village has been assigned by the authorities to manage an area of about 8 hectares, which has a coastal coral reef. It is also home to endemic species such as lobsters, sea turtles, and seaweed. Sustainable protection of resources has provided the locals with significant benefits from nature.
We annually monitor and observe the growth of coral reefs and other marine species. We have found that the coral reef area has developed very well. This type of sea tourism is very attractive to tourists. In the past, people only fished, but now they both exploit tourism and protect coral reefs and other rare marine species.
On average, the village welcomes hundreds of visitors each month. Tourism accounts for 60 to 70% of the local economy. The potential for economic diversification in coastal villages is huge due to factors such as location, weather, and resources.
Local fishermen operate tours to take tourists to visit islands. We also offer services such as restaurants and night squid fishing. As a result, people's livelihoods from tourism have increased.
The diversification of the local marine economy plays a crucial role in the development plans of many localities. Fishing, tourism services, and logistics, all of these factors will contribute to the sustainable and effective exploitation of the country's long coastlines.
The government, ministries, localities, and fishermen across the country have been implementing strict measures to remove the European Commission's yellow card. These measures include stringent management of the fishing fleet and enhanced solutions for managing fishing vessels. We'll learn more in our story from Sopchang Province.
The province has 344 large fishing vessels. The local authorities have focused on providing fishermen with official information. Violating foreign waters is not permitted, even if ship owners make excuses such as vessels getting lost at sea. In such cases, they must report and strictly follow the instructions of the authorities.
We coordinate with the 2nd Border Guard Squadron to conduct patrols and check fishing vessels operating at sea. We constantly inform them about IUU regulations and urge them not to violate any of them.
After I received information from the officers, I instructed my crew and staff to adhere to regulations when fishing offshore and to avoid violating foreign waters. This would bring significant benefits to our country.
Since 2015, the province has not recorded any incidents of offshore fishing vessels violating foreign waters. All vessels have completed the installation of monitoring systems. Vessel owners, captains, and fishermen consciously comply with current laws and regulations.
We are determined not to let any fishing vessels violate foreign waters. Vessels entering and leaving the wharves must be closely monitored 24/7. They must install voyage monitoring equipment according to regulations. Exploitation at sea must be recorded in a logbook, with no fraud committed.
The entire political system, businesses and fishermen are working together to remove the EC's yellow card. Now, every voyage is not just a means of livelihood, but also an opportunity to strengthen the reputation of Vietnamese seafood on the international stage.
The Vietnamese fragrant rice varieties ST24 and ST25 are currently not receiving tax incentives for exports to the EU market, according to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. This information follows reports from various businesses that they weren't benefiting from a 0% tax rate when exporting these two rice types to Europe. Under the EVFTA agreement, only 9 Vietnamese fragrant rice varieties presently receive tax incentives within the quota for exports to the EU. This list was established before 2015, predating the introduction of the SD rice varieties. Currently, authorities are in negotiations to expand the list of rice varieties eligible for tax incentives. For the first time, Vietnam has surpassed India and Thailand to become the largest rice exporter to Singapore by shipping 36.15 million Singapore's dollar, or about 26.55 million US dollars worth of rice in the first 3 months of this year. That is an increase of 80.46% over the same period in 2023, winning 32.03% of the market share, according to the Vietnam Trade Office in Singapore. Notably, besides Vietnam's traditionally strong product of white rice, the turnovers of 2 other product groups, which are sticky rice and milled or peeled fragrant rice, also rose to dominate the majority of the market share in Singapore, reaching 80.08% and 73.33% respectively. The Vietnam Trade Office in Singapore advised Vietnamese rice exporters to continue improving their competitiveness and enhancing the quality of rice. The office will organize more exhibitions to increase the presence of Vietnamese rice in this promising market. Despite the lack of a domestic carbon credit trading mechanism, the demand for trading has increased. Now, that is driven by sustainable, environmentally friendly development and carbon emission reduction policies around the world. Ho Chi Minh City was chosen as the first locality to pilot the carbon credit exchange and offset mechanism. Our next report will tell us about the city's efforts to achieve these goals.
Beginning in 2025, Vietnam plans to pilot a carbon credit market. Consequently, 1,912 large enterprises in Vietnam that emit 3,000 tons of carbon per year can buy domestic carbon credits if other strategies fail to help them meet their emission reduction targets. This move is expected to result in more favorable prices for sellers, while buyers will gain access to more affordable credits.
The introduction of the voluntary carbon market has opened up new opportunities for individuals, ethnic groups, and communities to enhance carbon absorption efforts, particularly within sectors such as the rice industry.
Every year, Ho Chi Minh City releases about 60 million tons of carbon, with the industrial and transportation sectors contributing around 33 million tons. According to Resolution 98, the city will initiate a trial of a carbon credit exchange and offset mechanism.
Before launching this initiative, it's crucial to identify pilot projects, determine the nationally determined contribution, and consult with relevant ministries and branches for approval before carbon trading activities.
For carbon credits to be recognized, whether purchased or voluntarily obtained, 2 key steps are necessary: inventory and verification. However, currently, we are unable to perform these steps independently. While we have made progress in promoting policy, our practical implementation has been lagging.
In 2024, Ho Chi Minh City has established 2 significant objectives: green growth and digital transformation. The city is striving for a green, carbon-neutral economy and aims to reduce emissions by 10% by 2030. Currently, the city is encouraging investment in 28 projects across various industrial sectors. Carbon credit trading will serve as a catalyst to boost the green economy, not just in Ho Chi Minh City, but nationwide.
Before we move on, let's have a look at the exchange rate between the Vietnam Dong against some foreign currencies in today's market. Coming up next on VTV News. Planet versus Plastic. World Earth Day 2024 kicks off with strong environmental theme. Later on, VFA iMuseum app enhances art reviewing experience. Now moving on to other important updates, April the 22nd, it's World Earth Day, and this year's theme is Planet versus Plastic. This year, Earth Day aims to call on countries to reduce the production of all types of plastics by 60% by 2040. Currently, countries around the world are making efforts to end the use of plastic and reduce the harmful effects that plastic pollution has on human health, animals, and biodiversity. Research by the United Nations Environment Program shows that each year, the world produces 400 million tons of plastic. An estimated 79% ends up in landfills or is released into the environment. Only 9% is recycled. If this situation continues, by 2050, there will be about 12 billion tons of plastic waste globally. According to the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, Vietnam's per capita plastic consumption has increased rapidly from 3.8 kilograms per person per year in 1990 to 41 kilograms in 2015 and is currently about 54 kilograms. Fully aware of the harmful effects of plastic waste, many solutions have been implemented to reduce it, including the use of non-recyclable plastics and paper as alternative fuels in cement production. More on this in the following.
More than 200 tons of plastic waste from Minh Khai Plastic Craft Village in Hưng Yên Province and Chiang Minh Craft Village in Hai Phong City were brought to this factory to be used as fuel for cement production.
The burning of waste in cement kilns is gaining favor around the world as an important waste management option. More waste is added during the clinker process. We have replaced approximately 35 to 40% of coal usage.
This is not the first time the company has substituted coal with alternative fuels. They have previously incorporated industrial and plastic waste into their fuel sources. Traditional technology requires 150 tons of coal dust to generate 1 ton of clinker. However, using plastic waste as fuel decreases the coal dust requirement to just over 100 tons.
This waste treatment method has proven to be effective and economical, as it reduces coal dust in cement production by 10 to 15%. The company has purchased waste from craft villages to produce cement.
Norway has supported Vietnam in using plastic waste as an alternative to coal.
Today, the Norwegian cement industry has replaced 75% of its coal with waste. So this has not only led to reduced GIG emission.
Vietnam's cement industry produces 100 million tons of cement each year and uses about 10 million tons of coal as fuel. The cost of fuel is quite high. The solution of using plastic waste as fuel is expected to be widely applied and could solve both economic problems for businesses and waste problems for craft villages.
In Vietnam, green consumption is on the rise, accompanied by increasing consumer awareness of environmentally friendly products. While alternatives such as tote bags, paper straws, and paper bags have been introduced and well received, it's important to recognize that using items labeled as eco-friendly doesn't guarantee environmental sustainability. Even products designed for single or limited use can still contribute to negative environmental impacts.
Given the harmful effects of plastic bags on the environment, tote bags are considered a more sustainable alternative. However, research indicates that a cotton tote bag needs to be used about 20,000 times, equivalent to more than 50 years, to offset its environmental impact from production. During a household cleanup, the student found almost 20 tote bags. Initially, they were often reused, but they ended up being used only a few times.
I have many tote bags, but I don't use them all. Retailers and conference organizers often give out tote bags to promote environmental awareness, resulting in some of my bags going unused.
We often promote tote bags as eco-friendly, but they're typically made with polyester fabric, nylon thread, and bright chemical dyes, which slow decomposition. Similarly, paper cups coated with polymer plastic take 100 years to break down.
To qualify as environmentally friendly, experts evaluate a product's entire life cycle, from raw material extraction to production, consumption, and disposal. Research conducted by Columbia University reveals that paper bag production causes 70% more air pollution and 50 times more water pollution than plastic bag production.
There are products labeled as environmentally friendly, but they engage in greenwashing, misleading consumers. Therefore, it's crucial to educate consumers to discern which products to boycott and which to support.
Although the 2020 Environmental Protection Law had extended regulations on manufacturers' responsibilities throughout the product life cycle, it's the adoption of sustainable consumption habits by consumers that truly drives positive environmental change, rather than merely following a passing trend.
As the whole country prepares to celebrate the 79th anniversary of the historic Điện Biên Phủ victory, many meaningful activities have been held nationwide. Specifically in Điện Biên province last weekend, nearly 100 doctors from the medical department and the General Department of Logistics organized free medical examinations and distributed medicine to local disadvantaged ethnic people.
By 8 a.m., hundreds of people had already gathered at the commune health station's free medical examination point. This 90-year-old woman, a former youth volunteer, arrived early and was guided to an examination table.
Today I'm getting my heart, liver, and teeth checked. The doctor advised me to replace my teeth because they've all decayed, but I'm scared. All the staff have been very supportive, helping me take care of my health.
Notably, the medical units have transported many pieces of modern equipment, Điện Biên, such as X-ray machines, biochemical testing machines, and blood testing machines for health services.
Here, many people never get to use machines like ultrasounds or electrocardiograms. When people come here for checkups, they are very happy to get their health examined with advanced techniques. We are determined to examine and help as many people as possible.
It's fortunate that we get the chance to serve the people of Na Tao commune again. This is also where treatment team number 5 was stationed for 6 months. It's an honor and a responsibility to serve the people, and we do it with the hearts of soldiers and the knowledge of military medical personnel.
Every local who attends the examination will receive a bag of medicine, which includes supplements, vitamins, and prescribed drugs. On this occasion, nearly 1,500 people were examined and provided with free medicine.
The Ho Chi Minh City Public Transport Management Center has introduced a smart application that provides passengers using the public bus service with useful information to promote the use of public transport. The app, called Go Bus Ho Chi Minh City, can be accessed using the Zalo platform. It helps users easily view bus operating schedules, find directions, and comment and reflect on their experiences using the service. Passengers can also buy tickets and experience river buses without having to download additional applications. In the future, data from Metro Train Number 1 will be integrated as well. That is considered a new step towards digital transformation in the transportation industry. Now, meanwhile, the digital era has opened a new space for art lovers as well. With just a smart electronic device, viewers can admire various types of art regardless of time and location. Digitizing artworks is an effective method for preservation, enabling these works to integrate more seamlessly into modern life. Let's learn more about this new way of experiencing the art at the Vietnam Fine Arts Museum.
The iMuseum app of the Vietnam Fine Arts Museum, or VFA, provides visitors with information on all the works in 8 different languages. Viewers can even explore the exhibition space with a 3D virtual tour on the website.
I can easily listen to the narration in South Korean, and I am really impressed with the work here.
An online exhibition is being held on the museum's website, making it easy for public to access and interact with the works. This is also more convenient for the artists to publish their works.
Finding information about Vietnamese fine arts can be challenging. However, this platform provides long-term information and images of artwork. As I teach at a university in the US, this is valuable material for my instruction.
Digitization enhances the appeal and experience for visitors. This is a new trend and also the upcoming direction of the VFA regarding advanced technology applications and interactive experiences.
Digitalization showcases the aesthetic, cultural, and historical values of the artworks in more vivid and multi-dimensional manner. Many museums have applied advanced technologies such as virtual reality and augmented reality to improve the art viewing experience. In turn, this is supposed to help put Vietnamese fine art on the world map.
Coming up next in our world news. Israeli strikes on Rafah killed 22, mostly children. And later on, 2023 global military spending hits a record high. Moving to our world news, at least 22 people, mostly children, were killed in an Israeli attack on the southern Gaza city of Rafah on Sunday. Israel has carried out near daily air raids on Rafah, aiming to intensify pressure on Hamas forces. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that he would expand the ground offensive to the city on the border with Egypt, despite international calls for restraint, including from the U.S. Previously, countries in the region has warned of serious consequences of any military activity in the city of Rafah. According to a report released today by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, global military spending reached a record high in 2023. The total global military expenditure surged to $2.4 trillion, representing a real-term increase of 6.8% from 2022. This was the steepest year-on-year increase in over a decade, occurring amidst rising tensions and conflicts in various parts of the world. Now, the report highlights that military spending has risen across all 5 continents, especially in Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. The Korean currency has dropped by over 7% against the US dollar so far this year, marking the biggest fall since the global financial crisis in 2008. In last Friday's trading session, the South Korean won closed at 1,382.2 won against the greenback, down 7.3% from 1,228.88 won at the end of 2023. This marks the largest decline since March 1990, when the country adopted the market average exchange rate system in place of the multiple basket peg system. Now, during the same period in 2008, South Korea saw its currency tumble 6.9% against the US dollars, and the figure for 2009 came to 5.8%. Last week, the Korean won fell to a closely watched level of 1,400 won in trading on April the 16th. And now let's have a look at the weather forecast. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website or YouTube channel or download a mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.